Welcome back to AZ Preps 365 as we hear a little bit of Sister Sledge in our background. We are family, and there's a reason we're playing that, as we'll get into that in a second. But our next guest is the Washington High School alum. She's going to coach the Papago Pumas running backs. Not only is she making history coaching in a male-dominated field, but being on a big stage is nothing new to her. That's because she's also a recording artist. Who said football and singing don't mix? First and foremost, we want to welcome Coach Amber Dirks by congratulating her on breaking another barrier as a junior college football coach. Good morning, Coach Dirks. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thank you for such a warm and so nice introduction. I really appreciate that.
We definitely appreciate you for sharing some of your Saturday morning with us. Coach, I guess the first thing I'm going to ask is, what are you up to this morning? You're a football coach, and I feel you're not just waking up right now. I feel you've been active already.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, we're just coming off of the Hayden Butte Reserve off of Mill. Man, we were running those hills, boy. I'm telling you, we got these young men out here, and we are ready to go to work this season. You understand?
Wow, the enthusiasm that you have it's contagious. I mean, it really is. I mean, you're fired up. You've already put some serious work in, and I guess I'll ask you as a coach, how did you get into coaching? As far as I believe you've coached football at the high school level and some tennis. Mm-hmm. Just tell us about those experiences before we even dig a little bit deeper into your past.
Okay, well, did you want me to talk about the high school experience or how I started?
Let's go with the high school experience first, and then we'll kind of work backwards.
Okay, that's fine. So, started at North Canyon. I was the defensive coordinator for both the freshmen and the JV, and I also assisted at the varsity level. And then from there, went to Apollo, where I was the junior varsity head coach and defensive coordinator. And I also assisted, obviously, with the varsity as well. And then from there, I started to do semi-pro, went back into the youth a little bit, and then I started doing tennis. So with tennis, I also coached the boys tennis team at North Canyon. And then I did a couple of seasons of girls tennis at Arcadia High School, where just this last year, we actually made state, and that hadn't happened for the past 4 years. So,
wow. I'll ask you this. You've coached, obviously, tennis and football, which are two totally different sports. I feel you're intense in both, but tell us about the difference in intensity, because what you bring to the football field has got to be probably a little bit different than what you bring to the tennis courts, but at the same time, you're definitely getting the most out of your athletes.
Oh, most definitely. Well, it's always going to be academics first, so we always push for that, number one. The next thing is, pushing the athleticism, getting the best that you can out of all your athletes, whether it be football, tennis, or whatever sport it is that they're doing. Here it is very different in regards to, the etiquette. I can't be all, come on, and doing, being all like that, outside of the tennis court. I have to be very quiet. There are moments where, I can't speak, only during a changeover, things like that. So the etiquette is a lot different. But I will tell you this, I'm going to still coach at that same level because I always expect the best out of all of my student athletes.
That's awesome to hear as we're speaking with Amber Dirks. She is the running backs coach at Papago Junior College, the Pumas.
Yes.
And Coach Dirks, I'll ask, how did you get into coaching? Because you see a lot of females attend games, rooting on their sons and go Johnny, that type of thing, but you've certainly taken it to another level.
Yes, well, how can I make this long story short? So it really started with our son. He had an interest wanting to play tackle football when he was 5 years old, and unfortunately, he was in a situation that was not a positive experience. And, I'll never forget looking at my husband. And at the time, I was torn a lot, but I always was able to have that time, with our children. So I looked at my husband and I said, this can't be how coaching is. I said, our son wants to play. And I asked him, I said, do you really want to play football? He said, yes, Mom and Dad. I said, okay, well, I looked at my husband. I said, one of us is going to have to step up. We got to step up, And then my husband, I'll never forget, he looked at me, he started laughing. He's like, man, what you know about football? You don't know nothing about football. Only thing you know about is to get on my nerves when the Packers play and you want to root for the other team, So, and he was right. I didn't know anything. But I said, you know what? If that means I have to do whatever it takes to get to that level where I can help him and others, because there's got to be better ways, and that's what I did. I went to coach clinics. I'd be the only female in a coach clinic of about 350, men. And it'd be funny. I walk up and they'll be like, excuse me, ma'am, this is for football coaches. Wow. And I'm like, yes, I'm a football coach, So, I did the work, I got books, started, just learning the game and just making sure that, I could be, very proficient at it. And especially, getting my football IQ up because, especially being a female in this sport, you better know your stuff.
Absolutely.
You better know your stuff.
And
not to be and make it sound like a sexist thing, but you should know your stuff, meaning a male or female. But I'm just saying, because of the dominance of this sport, you don't see many of me in it. So you're going to always get questioned. There were times where refs, they wouldn't even acknowledge me as the head coach, and I would have a staff of all men, so what they always say, hey, if I have to talk to anybody, it's going to be the head coach. So when there's things that need to be spoken, they just walk right past me and speak to one of my assistants. But then they would direct them back to me. So,
sure.
It's been a tough little ride here and there, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Absolutely.
I love this game. I'm passionate about this game.
We're catching up with Amber Dirks, the running backs coach at Papago Junior College. I'll ask you, how did you get connected with Papago Junior College? I was speaking with head coach Brandon Payne actually last Saturday, and he mentioned your name. And how did that connection happen as far as you joining his staff?
Okay, so there was a post that was made by Coach Mark, who is our offensive coordinator, and they were still looking to fill some much needed spaces on the coaching staff, and I wanted to just learn a little bit more about the program, and so I reached out to him and asked them about the program, what they're really focused on within this program, and it sounded like a lot of the things that I was looking for. And so I actually went out, and then the funniest part was he's like, okay, so when you come out, I said, yeah, I want to check it out, kind of see, get a feel and see, if this would be a really good fit. And, it's hard when you're a coach to be at the sideline just watching. So, of course, I brought all my stuff with me, set up the drills for the running backs and got to work. And it just felt natural. It felt like this is where I was supposed to be. It was like I've been there all the time. So it was a great fit, man. These are some awesome athletes. The coaching staff is bar none. Coach Payne, he's setting the bar. Coach Mark, who's our OC, Coach Stroh, the DC, Coach Tracy, he's the offensive line coach. We got Coach Brown, the DB's coach, Coach Hill, DL, Coach Lino, the wide receiver, Coach Anderson, strength and conditioning and things. We have a staff that is dedicated and committed to these student athletes and to get them to being the best that they can be so that they can move forward in what they're aspiring to be.
You definitely are a huge part and a huge success in a lot of athletes' lives from, as we said, from youth to high school and now into the junior college ranks. And sliding away from football, you have a interesting background. You have a little bit of singing in your background. We'd love to know a little bit more of that because, I mean, you've toured with some amazing folks. Share that experience with us if you could.
Oh, wow. Now, I'm just going to say, it's hard to talk about yourself, right?
It is, yes.
Well, I will say this. I toured with Sister Sledge. We are family.
That's
toured with them
awesome.
for many years. I love them. They're like sisters to me, for real.
Awesome.
And I still, on occasion, may get together with them here and there.
Wow.
They know where my passion is too, and that's why I haven't been touring as much with them as I was before. I also toured with a very well-known Spanish artist by the name of Rafael, and one of his big songs was Escándalo, Escándalo, so I did a lot of touring with them. I also record, and with recording, I've become a Billboard recording artist. I've had songs that chart, and just recently I had a song released that charted overseas, on their dance charts in the top 20, so, I'm still very active in the music scene, but I will say this, that my coaching has by far surpassed, that. If you were to ask me, what would be my first choice, it's going to be coaching. I love working with the youth. I love, watching them grow. I love, seeing the successes that they make. All I ever ask for is a ticket so I can come and watch them.
And Coach Dirks, how do you find time, between coaching and recording and everything like that? It sounds like you stay very busy there.
It's time management. And these are the things that we tell our athletes too. You got to have good time management with anything, especially, they're going to school, they got to maintain these grades, plus they want to, get time on the field, which means it's going to require a lot of work because there's a lot of competition. So time management is key in everything that you do in life. I have a family as well. I've been with my husband since '94. We have 2 teenagers, and I'm juggling that too. They both are athletic, children. Our daughter is a volleyball player, and our son, he still plays football as well. So I mean, it's just been, it's time management. It's just, you got to be really good at managing your time, and the other big thing is having that support. I have a great support in my family. I mean, I couldn't do any of this without their support, and their love and belief in me. So I'm very thankful and appreciative of that.
You definitely have accomplished quite a bit. Let's go back even further as we're speaking with Amber Dirks, a running backs coach with Papago, the Papago Pumas. It's sometimes tough to say that rather quickly, the Papago Pumas.
That's okay.
Washington High School. You are an alum of Washington High School. Are you Phoenix raised, or are you a transplant, so to speak? Kind of share a little bit about your, I'm going to say your earlier days.
Okay, so born in Holland, I speak the language fluently.
Wow.
So, so from Holland to New York, city, went to school partially there, and then we came here. Phoenix, I would say I've been in Phoenix a lot longer than any other city out here. And yes, I did graduate from Washington High School. Great school. Definitely
good stuff to hear alums of schools really just taking their careers to a different level. And I mean, obviously, you've had kind of a dual career as a singer and certainly now as a coach. You mentioned time management, which obviously is very important as a wife, a husband, a coach. What do you do for yourself? If I'm correct, racquetball might even be in your background as well. Just tell us a little bit about when you have time for yourself or what you do to keep in shape. Just tell us about Amber Dirks, the person.
Amber Dirks, the person, I get so much more joy out of doing what I can in the community because I just feel that, as a person in society, especially in our country, the more that we do for each other, the better it enrich your life. So that I get the most joy out of doing what I can for others. So with that, the little joys that I do outside of, with my family and everything else, racquetball, I actually was a champion in racquetball. I was also featured on the USA Racquetball magazine.
Oh, wow.
I won my fair share of medals. I could say I do the kind of matrix kind of stuff when I play racquetball. I'm crazy in the court. I'm not gonna lie. It's a fast game. It's a hard game, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna get hit with the ball. And if you can't take the hit, get off the court. That's what I'm saying. Not that it's purposely; it just happens that way. Those are some of the other pastime. I love being on the lake. I love going to the lake and just taking in that beautiful scenery and just relaxing, and then just being at home with family, and relaxing, cooking on the grill and getting in the pool, and that's pretty much where that is for me. That's my happy place.
Coach, we get the impression you're very talented at everything you do. I don't think anything you pick up, you're going to be excellent at it. So. Oh,
you're very kind. You're very kind. I appreciate that. I know there's people out there that's, a lot 10 times better than me. I'm not trying to be the claim of fame or try to be this or that. I just love what I do, and and I just appreciate every opportunity that I get to do it.
And Coach, last question before we let you go. The Papago Pumas, when's the first game? What's you guys' practice schedule? Kind of what's leading up to the season?
Okay, so our first game is on September 4th. It's against MIM. It's in New Mexico. It's against the military school. Our schedule is looking like, we're hitting the weights. We're out on the field. We're getting conditioned. We're getting prepared. We're going to come hard. We're going to come strong. We're going to come ready. We got a team of hungry, young individuals that, with every breath that they take, they're out here, sweating, bleeding, and dreaming this dream. So we're going to come correct. Be on the lookout for the Papago Pumas, because we're coming.
That is awesome. You described your team, you described your life, you described your singing background. You're really a gem. You're an asset to everything that you've done. And can we ask you to just sing a couple quick notes of any one given song as we go to break?
Any one given song. Okay, what about a little bit of "We Are Family"? I got all my sisters, my brothers with me. We are family. Set up everybody say.
Well sung. We can't even say well spoken. Well sung. Outstanding. It has been such a pleasure speaking with you, Coach Dirks. It's been terrific.
I appreciate you guys.
You've certainly made our morning, and have a great rest of the weekend, that's for sure. And we'll be keeping an eye on you guys for the season.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I hope to meet you guys in person. Come to the sideline. We'd love to see you there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the invite. Have a great weekend. That is Amber Dirks. She is the running backs coach for the Papago Pumas, and we'll continue on 1580 The Fanatic, Arizona's new home for
AZ Preps 365 on The Fanatic.